She said, "I'm not cutting off my ex just because you're insecure." "Fair point," I said. Accepted Phoenix, the position I declined twice for her. She realized I was serious when she showed up at my apartment to work things out. The new tenant answered the door. Throwaway account, because this story got a bit too real, and I don't need the drama resurfacing in my professional circles. But if you're here for some relationship justice, buckle up. This is how my ex-fiancée Rachel basically handed me the keys to a better life on a silver platter of betrayal. AITA for finally putting myself first after years of being her safety net? Spoiler, I don't think so. Let me start from the beginning, because context matters, especially when you're talking about 14 months of engagement and a joint savings account with $28,000. I met Rachel about 3 years ago at our mutual friend Shane Crawford's house, warming in Houston. I was 29 then, hitting my stride as a construction supervisor at Lone Star Construction, a solid outfit that's been handling Texas infrastructure projects for 12 years. She was this ambitious event planning coordinator, 26, full of plans about building her own wedding planning business while maintaining her authentic connections. We clicked instantly over cheap beer and late-night talks about 5-year plans. I fell hard, and she seemed to as well. Early on, she told me about her ex, Cody. They'd dated for 2 years post-college, but it ended messy when his freelance music production career couldn't support basic stability. She painted him as unreliable, someone who left her feeling anxious about the future. I, on the other hand, was the stable one. Steady income, 401k contributions, plans for home ownership. That's what she said she loved about me. That's what made her say yes when I proposed 12 months later. The engagement felt right. We opened that joint savings for the house down payment, started wedding planning with a $4,200 venue deposit at this country music hall in Katy. Even got pre-approved for a mortgage on a $285,000 house in Sugar Land. The future looked solid as concrete. I'd wake up at 5 a.m. for site inspections, hard hat, and steel-toed boots ready. Managing crews on pipeline projects and refinery upgrades across the Houston area. OSHA safety meetings, equipment certifications, crane operator licenses, the whole blue-collar ladder I'd been climbing since I was 22. Rachel would be planning corporate events and weddings, building her client base, talking about expanding into Austin and Dallas markets. We'd grab Whataburger on Friday nights, catch country music shows at local venues, spend Sundays at my buddy Shane's place watching Cowboys games and grilling burgers. Life had that comfortable rhythm that comes when two people are building something together. Or so I thought. But that's when Cody started creeping back into the picture. At first, it was innocent enough. A text here and there about some mutual friend's life update. "Just staying connected to our old circle," she'd say. I'd see his name pop up on her phone during Friday night football while we house hunted, and she'd laugh it off. "Cody's just sharing some funny video from a recording session, no big deal." But it escalated. She'd like his Instagram posts, artsy shots from studio sessions he was producing, local band performances that screamed, "Look at my creative life." The posts were always late-night uploads, moody lighting, expensive equipment he definitely couldn't afford on his own. I'd mention it casually, like, "Hey, it bothers me that you're still so engaged with your ex's content." Her response rolled in, fast and defensive. "Brady, don't be so insecure. Cody's just a friend now. We have history, but that's it." History. That word started to grate on me like fingernails on a chalkboard. I'd overhear bits of their phone calls when she thought I was in the garage working on my F-150, her giggling at his stories, venting to him about work stress instead of me. The Houston humidity made everything stick to you, your shirt, your mood, apparently her attention to another man. One evening, after a long day reviewing safety protocols for Lone Star's new refinery project out in Baytown, I found her scrolling through old photos on her phone. There was one of her and Cody at some rodeo at the Fort Worth Stock Show, arms around each other during a concert, looking carefree and young, both of them in boots and cowboy hats, her laughing at something he'd whispered in her ear. When I asked why she still had those, she snapped. "Memories aren't something you delete just because someone new comes along. God, why are you always so paranoid?" I wasn't paranoid. I was committed, planning a future. And yeah, maybe a little naive about what mature adult relationships looked like. but I loved her, so I tried to trust. Meanwhile, my career was accelerating. I'd been putting in 60-hour weeks, managing larger crews, earning respect from guys who'd been in construction since before I was born. Buck Rodriguez, my site foreman and mentor for the past 8 years, had been dropping hints about bigger opportunities coming down the pipeline. Literally, Lone Star was expanding into the Southwest Energy Corridor, and they needed experienced supervisors who could handle the heat, both weather and workplace pressure. "You keep this up, Coleman," Buck would say, adjusting his hard hat against the Texas sun, "and you'll be running operations across multiple states before you're 35. Phoenix office has been asking about you specifically." I'd drive home through Houston traffic in my work truck, windows down because the AC was busted again, thinking about possibilities. Rachel and I would be married by then, maybe starting a family, building equity in that Sugarland house. The American dream, blue-collar edition, paid for with honest work and steady advancement. But every time I walked through our front door, I'd find her on her phone, and more often than not, I'd catch a glimpse of Cody's name before she'd angle the screen away. About 12 months into our engagement, that opportunity Buck had been hinting about became real. Regional Operations Manager position with Lone Star's Phoenix office, overseeing pipeline and refinery projects across the Southwest. The package was impressive: $42,000 salary bump, full relocation support, housing allowance, company truck, the works. It was a dream role, managing cutting-edge industrial developments in Scottsdale's energy corridor, living in Arizona, building something meaningful. Desert construction meant different challenges: extreme heat instead of humidity, different soil conditions, specialized equipment for arid climate work. But the money was serious, and the career trajectory was everything I'd been working toward. But Rachel was deep into wedding planning mode, and she freaked at the idea of postponing everything. "I can't uproot my life right now, Brady. What about the venue deposit? Our families are expecting June. My business is just starting to gain momentum here." Then came the kicker. "And Cody's finally getting his album project off the ground. He's been struggling, and I want to be supportive during this crucial time." Wait, what? Cody's album mattered more than our future? More than a $42,000 raise and a chance to run operations across 4 states? I stared at her across our kitchen table, morning coffee growing cold in my hands. Outside, Houston traffic was already building, another sweltering day promising to hit 95 degrees before noon. "Rachel, this is what we've been working toward: financial security, real advancement. We could buy a house in Phoenix with cash, start fresh." She shook her head, blonde hair catching the sunlight through our windows. "You don't understand the creative process, Brady. Cody's been working on this project for 3 years. The timing is finally right. He's got studio sessions booked, potential investors interested. I can't just abandon him when he needs support." Support from his ex-girlfriend. While her fiancé got offered the opportunity of a lifetime, I turned it down for her. She hugged me tight that night, whispering how much she appreciated my sacrifice. "You're my rock, Brady. I don't know how we'd make this work long distance. Phoenix is so far from everything we've built here." Buck wasn't happy when I declined. "Son, you sure about this? Regional operations opportunities don't come around often, especially at your age. Phoenix team specifically asked for you after seeing your work on the Baytown project. That's a compliment in this business." "I'm sure," I lied, signing the declination paperwork. "Wedding's in June. Maybe something else will come up later." But 6 months later, the offer came again. Same position, even better terms, expedited start date. Phoenix energy sector was booming. Solar projects, natural gas pipelines, infrastructure for Tesla's new facility. They needed someone who could coordinate between traditional oil and gas operations and renewable energy installations. Rachel was supposedly in a better headspace by then. Wedding planning mostly done, venue locked in, dress ordered. But she hesitated again when I brought it up over dinner at our usual spot, a barbecue joint off Highway 6 where we'd been going since our second date. "Phoenix sounds amazing, but I don't know if I'm ready for that big a transition. My business is finally gaining traction here. I just booked 3 summer weddings and a corporate retreat in Galveston. And honestly, Cody's album got picked up by that indie label. He's stressed about production deadlines. I feel weird abandoning everyone during important moments." Again, Cody, always Cody. I sat there eating brisket and thinking about how many times I'd heard his name in the past month. Studio sessions she'd stop by to bring him coffee. Late night texts about creative collaboration. Instagram stories from recording studios that looked suspiciously like dates. Rachel, we're supposed to be partners. This affects both our futures. I kept my voice level, but inside I was calculating. $42,000 more per year, plus lower cost of living in Phoenix, meant we could pay off our student loans in 2 years instead of 7, buy a house with a pool, maybe start a family sooner. She reached across the table, took my hand with fingers that smelled like the expensive hand lotion Cody had given her for Christmas. I know, baby, and we will be, but timing matters. Give me another year to establish my business here, then we can make the move together, properly. Another year. Another year of watching her support her ex's creative dreams, while my actual career stagnated. I declined the second time, telling myself it was for us, for the stability of our timeline. Buck just shook his head when I told him, Brady, I've been in this business 25 years, seen a lot of good men make bad decisions for worse women. Hope you know what you're doing. The truth was, I was starting to wonder myself. The situation hit a breaking point 4 months later, right after we'd closed on our house in Sugar Land. 2-story colonial with a big backyard, perfect for barbecues and future kids. Rachel had been excited during the house hunt, talking about paint colors and furniture arrangements, posting Instagram stories about building our dream home. But by then, things between us were strained in ways I was only starting to understand. Her friendship with Cody had ramped up significantly. Coffee meetups she downplayed as catching up about industry stuff. Late-night texts she'd angle away. When I walked into the room, shared Spotify playlists with titles like Late Night Creativity and Studio Vibes. I'd catch her comparing us subtly, little comments that stung more each time. Cody's album is getting radio play on some local stations. It's so inspiring to see someone chase their artistic vision. Your job's stable, Brady, but it's just predictable. Predictable. The word hit different when you'd been up since 4:30 a.m. coordinating safety protocols for a crew of 30 guys, making sure everyone went home to their families in one piece. When you'd spent 10 years learning every aspect of industrial construction, earning respect through competence and reliability. It stung even more when I was the one covering the mortgage during her slow months, planning date nights when she got overwhelmed with client demands, handling wedding vendor coordination, while she spent evenings networking with creative types who somehow always included her ex-boyfriend. Yet, I was predictable. The steady paycheck was boring. The man building our future was somehow less interesting than the guy whose biggest accomplishment was getting 3 songs played on a college radio station in Austin. When the Phoenix email landed in my inbox for the 3rd time, I almost deleted it without reading. But curiosity got the better of me. Same position, but now they were offering a signing bonus on top of everything else. $10,000 just for saying yes. Plus, accelerated vesting on company stock options, and a guaranteed promotion track to regional director within 18 months. The desert was calling, and this time the offer was impossible to ignore. I brought it up over dinner at our new dining room table, the one Rachel had picked out from some boutique furniture store in Rice Village. Expensive taste for someone whose event planning business was still struggling to break even. Rachel, this could be huge for us. Fresh start, desert living, the role I've been working toward for years. They're offering serious money now, enough to pay off your business loans and still have a nest egg. She sighed, twirling her pasta around her fork like she was buying time to think of excuses. I get it, Brady, but I'm finally happy here. We just bought this house, spent months picking out paint colors and furniture. My client base is growing. And honestly, if you're pushing this because you're jealous of Cody, that's on you. He's a friend, that's it. Jealous? Maybe a little, but it was more about respect and boundaries. I wanted a partnership where my fiancée didn't seek emotional support from her ex while dismissing my career aspirations, where she didn't light up when her phone buzzed with his name while barely looking up when I talked about work achievements. Look, if we're serious about marriage, maybe we need some boundaries around your contact with him. It feels like emotional cheating. Her eyes narrowed, fork, clattering against her plate. Emotional cheating? Wow, Brady, that's dramatic. I'm not cutting off my ex just because you're insecure. People can maintain friendships after dating. Grow up. That line hit like a sledgehammer to the chest. I'd sacrificed 2 career-defining opportunities for her comfort, covered her business expenses when clients paid late, supported her dreams while mine got put on hold. And now I was the insecure one for wanting basic relationship boundaries. I sat there, staring at my plate, feeling the weight of those 2 declined offers pressing down like concrete blocks. The Houston heat was still brutal in October, air conditioning running constantly, electric bills through the roof. Phoenix would be dry heat, manageable heat, better cost of living, better opportunities, better everything. But I didn't argue, not yet. Instead, I nodded slowly. Fair point. And in that moment, something fundamental shifted inside me. I excused myself to the bathroom and pulled out my phone. The Phoenix email was still there, waiting. 3 clicks, reply, accept, send. Start date in 6 weeks. No fanfare, no announcement to Rachel. Just a quiet decision to stop being her backup plan while she kept Cody as her emotional primary. The next few weeks were a masterclass in compartmentalization. Rachel acted like nothing had happened, still texting Cody openly, posting vague Instagram stories about cherishing authentic connections and supporting your people through their dreams. I kept my acceptance under wraps, coordinating with Lone Star's Phoenix team during lunch breaks, setting up banking transfers to cover the mortgage when I left. Internally, I was processing years of one-sided sacrifice. Why had I declined Phoenix twice? For what? For walks around our new neighborhood, watching other couples walk their dogs, wondering if I'd been living in a fantasy of partnership while she was managing a portfolio of relationships. The Houston humidity felt heavier now, oppressive in a way it never had before. Every morning at the construction site, every safety meeting, every equipment inspection felt like borrowed time. Buck noticed my mood shift, but didn't pry. He'd been in the business long enough to recognize a man making difficult decisions. Things came to a head about 3 weeks before my departure date. Rachel had been distant, spending more evenings networking, code for hanging out with Cody and their creative crowd, I suspected. She'd come home with stories about amazing artistic collaborations and inspiring creative energy that never seemed to include me. I'd seen her liking his posts about late-night recording sessions and coffee runs that looked suspiciously like dates, photos of expensive studio equipment, musicians I didn't recognize, Rachel in the background of group shots looking happier than she ever did at home. That evening, she came home from one of these sessions, a bit tipsy from wine, designer purse slung over her shoulder. Another expensive purchase she'd justified as investment in my professional image. She dropped onto our new sectional with a heavy sigh that filled the room like humidity. "We need to talk, Brady." I knew what was coming. The tone, the timing, the way she couldn't meet my eyes. I set down my laptop, calm as ever. "Okay, what's up?" She fiddled with her engagement ring, that 2-carat princess cut I'd saved 8 months for, working overtime shifts in the July heat to afford. "This isn't working. You're suffocating me with all this jealousy about Cody. He and I are just friends, but you keep making it a thing. I need space to figure out what I want without feeling guilty about maintaining my connections." Space. Right. The classic prelude to, I'm choosing someone else, but want to make it sound like your fault. "What you want? Like with Cody?" She rolled her eyes, that familiar condescending smirk I was starting to hate. See, there it is again. Insecure Brady. Cody gets me on a creative level. He's passionate, spontaneous. We have deep conversations about art, life, purpose. You're always so focused on work schedules and 5-year plans and financial planning. You turned down that Phoenix thing twice because you're scared of change, scared of taking risks. I almost laughed at the irony. Scared of taking risks? I operated heavy machinery 40 feet in the air. I coordinated million-dollar construction projects. I'd built a career from nothing but sweat and determination. I turned it down for you, Rachel. Twice. She waved it off dismissively, like those sacrifices were meaningless. Whatever. The point is, I deserve someone who matches my energy. Cody's not perfect, but at least he doesn't try to control who I talk to. I'm not saying I'm running back to him, but we've been reconnecting, and you holding me back from that friendship is manipulative. Her words were surgical in their selfishness, twisted with that entitled logic that made my years of support sound like oppression. manipulative. From the woman who'd guilt-tripped me into declining career opportunities while entertaining her ex behind my back. She leaned back, crossing her arms, looking so sure of herself in that designer blouse I'd helped pay for. I think we should take a break, maybe permanent. I'll stay at Nicole's tonight, give you time to think about how controlling you've been. I didn't beg, didn't raise my voice, just looked at her steadily, this woman I'd planned to marry, who just called my commitment controlling and my concerns manipulative. The air conditioning hummed in the background, fighting the Houston heat that never seemed to quit. Fair point. If that's what you want, go ahead. She blinked, like she expected a fight, expected me to panic and promise to change. Wait, that's it? No, please stay. You're just okay with this? What do you want me to say, Rachel? You've made your choice clear. She huffed, grabbing her purse and overnight bag from the bedroom, muttering something about how I'd changed, how the old Brady would have fought for them. Fine, whatever. You'll regret this when you realize no one else will put up with your boring, predictable routine. Have fun with your spreadsheets and safety meetings. And with that, she stormed out, slamming the door hard enough to rattle the windows. I heard her car engine fade into the distance, leaving me alone in our house. Well, my house now. The silence was deafening, but not crushing. I poured a beer, walked out to our back patio overlooking the neighborhood, and let the unfairness wash over me. Years of loyalty dismissed as controlling. Sacrifices thrown back in my face as evidence of my limitations. Part of me wanted to call her, explain the Phoenix situation, make her see what she'd lost. But that would be begging, and I was done with that dynamic. Instead, I texted Buck, Phoenix move confirmed, processing final arrangements. Then I blocked Rachel's number, not out of spite, but for my own peace. The next morning, I contacted our real estate agent about converting to a rental property. The housing market was strong in Sugar Land, and I'd already identified potential tenants through Lone Star's relocation network. A young couple from Oklahoma, looking to transfer to Houston, started saying quiet goodbyes to friends and colleagues. Shane Crawford was the hardest conversation. Man, I can't believe Rachel pulled this shit right before the wedding. You sure you want to just bail to Phoenix? It's not bailing, I explained over beers at our usual sports bar, watching the Astros lose another one. It's choosing my future over someone who couldn't choose me. The joint account dissolution took 2 weeks of paperwork. Rachel kept her half, $14,000 that I'd helped her build during her business struggles, covering her expenses when clients paid late or canceled events. I moved the remainder to my personal account, along with documentation for the lawyers handling our engagement dissolution. Wedding vendor cancellations cost us the $4,200 venue deposit, but everything else was recoverable. The catering company was understanding, the photographer rebooked the date, the flower shop kept our deposit for future use. Apparently, last-minute wedding cancellations weren't that unusual in their business. Rachel tried reaching out within days, probably expecting me to come crawling back. Texts from unknown numbers. It's Rachel, my phone's acting up. Can we talk? I didn't mean for things to end like that. I didn't respond, then emails to my work account. Brady, come on, you're being childish. Let's meet and sort this out like adults. Still nothing from me. Word got around through our circles fast. Houston's a big city, but the professional networks are smaller than you'd think. One mutual friend from Shane's crowd messaged, Dude, Rachel's telling everyone you overreacted about Cody. Says you're ghosting her out of spite. I kept my responses neutral. We wanted different things. Wish her well. No bad-mouthing, no details about Phoenix. That was mine to reveal when I chose. Buck helped me coordinate the transition, making sure my projects were covered before I left. You're doing the right thing, son. Phoenix team's lucky to get you. He'd been through his own relationship disasters 20 years ago, understood the weight of choosing career over drama. The moving company came on a Wednesday. Amazing how 3 years of building a life together could fit into a single truck. I kept the essentials, work boots, tools, some furniture, my truck. Left the fancy dishes Rachel had picked out, the artwork she'd insisted on, the decorative pillows that served no actual purpose. The day before my flight, I handed keys to the new tenants, Mason and Jessica, a young engineering couple who reminded me of Rachel and me 2 years ago, full of hope and excitement about their Houston adventure. Place is yours now. $18.50 monthly covers everything. Any issues? Property management company's number is on the fridge. They nodded, walking through rooms where I'd planned a wedding, imagined kids running around the backyard, built dreams that turned out to be one-sided. No bitterness, just acceptance. I crashed at a hotel near Bush Airport that night, feeling a mix of nerves and liberation. For the first time in years, I wasn't planning around someone else's emotions or limitations. No more walking on eggshells about ex-boyfriends. No more sacrificing opportunities for someone who'd never do the same for me. The hotel room was sterile but peaceful. I ordered room service, watched Sports Center, and thought about tomorrow. New city, new role, new life. No joint decisions, no compromise for someone who wouldn't compromise back. Phoenix was waiting, and for the first time in months, I was genuinely excited about the future. My future, built on my terms, with people who valued loyalty and hard work over creative drama and emotional manipulation. Rachel had handed me the keys to a better life. Time to drive away and never look back. Landing in Phoenix was surreal. The desert landscape, the dry heat that felt clean compared to Houston's humidity, the immediate welcome from Lone Star's Southwest team. Sky Harbor Airport buzzed with energy. Tourists heading to Scottsdale resorts, business travelers managing multi-state operations, people building something bigger than what they'd left behind. My new role exceeded every expectation. Regional operations manager meant coordinating pipeline projects across Arizona, New Mexico, Colorado, and Nevada, working with cutting-edge energy infrastructure, managing crews who respected competence over politics, building something meaningful on a massive scale. I found a modern apartment in Scottsdale with floor-to-ceiling windows overlooking Camelback Mountain, started exploring the incredible food scene, even picked up some Spanish phrases from colleagues who'd worked the border projects. The transformation was gradual but profound. I'd been holding myself back for Rachel's vision of our life, and now I was free to build something entirely mine. The dry desert air was liberating after years of Houston's oppressive humidity. No more 5 a.m. wake-ups in sticky heat. No more wrestling with sweat-soaked clothes by 7 in the morning. Phoenix meant crisp mornings, clear skies, and mountain views that made every sunrise feel like possibility. Friends back home kept me loosely updated through text messages and social media, though I didn't pry. Rachel's hanging with Cody a lot now, seems official. Good for them, I thought, genuinely at first. But karma started rolling in, slow at first, then like a freight train. About 2 months into my Phoenix life, Shane Crawford messaged, "Hey man, thought you should know Rachel and Cody are together now. She quit her event planning business to help him with his music career full time. They're talking about touring with local bands, chasing the dream." I read it from my apartment balcony, desert sunset painting the mountains orange and purple, sipping a beer that actually stayed cold in the dry heat. Predictable indeed. The shine wore off quickly. From what I pieced together through sporadic updates, Cody's success came with significant baggage. His album project was constantly behind schedule, bleeding money from investors who'd grown tired of missed deadlines and budget overruns. The indie label had backed out after hearing tracks that lacked commercial appeal and professional polish. Rachel, fresh off our breakup, had impulsively quit her business to support his artistic vision, draining her half of our joint savings. $14,000 I'd helped her build during her struggling months. They bounced around for a bit, chasing gig opportunities and funding, burning through her financial cushion while Cody's debt mounted. Credit cards maxed from equipment purchases and travel expenses that generated little revenue. Friends started distancing themselves from the drama. One mutual acquaintance mentioned overhearing her at a coffee shop in Rice Village, trash-talking our relationship to justify her choices. Brady was too safe, too controlling. Cody's real passion, real creativity. The irony wasn't lost on anyone who knew the real story. Then the cracks showed. Cody apparently got volatile when money got tight. Arguments about priorities and responsibility, echoing through whatever cheap apartment they had moved into after burning through Rachel's savings. He'd flirt with other women at industry events right in front of her, claiming it was networking for collaboration opportunities. Sound familiar? One friend relayed. The details. Rachel's a mess. Cody bailed on her during some music festival in Austin, left her with the hotel bill and equipment rental costs, said he needed creative space to finish his projects. She had to ask her sister Nicole for money to get home. The irony was exquisite. She scrambled back to Houston, unemployed and nearly broke. Her event planning network had moved on. Burning bridges with a dramatic business closure tends to have consequences in professional circles. Companies want reliability, especially in client-facing industries where reputation matters. Her social media shifted from smug couple shots with Cody to vague posts about growth through challenges and learning from mistakes. Meanwhile, I was thriving in ways I'd never imagined possible. Lone Star promoted me to Regional Operations Director, ahead of the standard 18-month timeline. I was traveling throughout the Southwest for projects, pipeline coordination in New Mexico, refinery upgrades in Colorado, renewable energy developments in Nevada. My LinkedIn was flooded with congratulations from colleagues and old friends who'd watched my career accelerate once I'd escaped that limiting relationship. One update hit particularly hard for Rachel, apparently. Buck Rodriguez mentioned my early promotion in a group video call that included several Houston-based supervisors. The news filtered through our mutual professional network like wildfire. A former Lone Star colleague mentioned it in a group chat Rachel was still part of from her event planning days. Brady Coleman is crushing it in Phoenix, Regional Operations Director already, leading energy projects across 4 states, living the dream out there in the desert. Her response, complete radio silence. Then she left the chat entirely. I didn't gloat. Didn't need to. Sitting in my apartment with a view of the Valley of the Sun, hosting barbecues with colleagues from California, Texas, and Colorado, I felt the complete reversal. Her downfall wasn't dramatic. It was realistic, earned from her choices. Broke, professionally isolated, romantically used and discarded by the same man she'd chosen over financial security and loyalty. Meanwhile, I was building something meaningful, traveling the region, even casually dating again through professional networks. No serious attachments yet, but the freedom was intoxicating after years of walking on eggshells around someone else's emotional needs. The rental income from our old house covered the mortgage with $700 monthly profit. I'd invested wisely with my salary increase. Phoenix's growing tech sector offered opportunities I'd never had access to in Houston. My portfolio was growing, retirement projections accelerated by smart financial planning and career advancement. Zero backward glances toward a woman who'd mistaken my loyalty for weakness and my commitment for control. She'd taught me an invaluable lesson about recognizing manipulation disguised as emotional depth, about the difference between supporting someone and enabling their disrespect. Sometimes the best revenge isn't revenge at all. It's simply accepting the upgrade when someone hands you the keys to a better life. She called me predictable, boring, insecure. Turns out, predicting a better future and executing on it was exactly what I needed. Fair point, Rachel. Fair point indeed.